Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you're listening to us from. We bring you yet again another episode of Footprints, a podcast that tells the stories and journeys of our elders and gleans wisdom from their journeys for us that are living today and for posterity. Today, we are glad to be hosting Ruth Ojiambo Ochieng. I call her Jaja Lucy. She will tell you why. She has a whole tribe of grandchildren. So, Ruth, you're very welcome to Footprints.
Thank you very much.
And I'd like you to tell us a bit about yourself. Take us way back when, where you were born, where you went to school, which teacher beat you for what.
Wow, that's a long story. I was born in a village called Genguluho many years ago, around 1955. And at that time, there were very few people living in this village. It is in today's Namayingo District. I remember most times when I would tell people I come from Genguluho, they had never even heard about the word. They say, Genguluho, where is this? But this is one of the villages on the banks of Lake Victoria in eastern Uganda. A place which used to have actually thick forests, very thick forests, and you just see dug little here and there, and you would grow a lot of whatever you wanted to grow. So there was always plenty.
Yes.
I went to this place after my father had moved from Tanzania, where he was posted as a Reverend after taking his theological training in Limuru. So I'm an East African. I would say I'm born in East Africa because I was born in Namayingo District, Genguluho. I grew up a bit in Limuru Theological College, and then I went into Shinyanga. That's where I started my primary one, near Madui Diamond Factory. So thank God there were no thieves at that time. Maybe my father would have stolen all the diamonds from Madui because he used to go to preach there. Then my father decided he wanted to come back home. And in 1964, we came back. It is me, myself, my mother, and my brother Dan who came back. But Gershom and John, for them, they were in boarding schools. So they remained there with my father. I went into primary 3 in what is called Luangosia Primary School. And from there, I used to have very many exciting teachers. But one whom I remember vividly up to today is a young Muganda girl. She was light-skinned. And I think most of us in the East we have dark skin. And she came to teach us Luganda. So she would come and start say, "Mwabatuuse leeti buveeyo, nze mbamanyi, era mbadde wali." And we would laugh. You know how you don't know the language? And someone goes on saying, "Nze mbamanyi mbalabye, mujje wano." So she always rings in my head. I don't know. She must also be very old, or maybe she passed on even, but she was a wonderful woman. So my father then got transferred to Jinja. And in Jinja, she realized the education in Luangosia was not that good. Because he had moved with my siblings, but I stayed with my mother look at the gender issues.
Yes.
So me, I remained with my mother to be also supporting her while I go to school.
Yes.
But the rest went with my father. Yeah, and in P6, that's when my father decided, the education here seems not to be that good. So he brought me to Jinja and took me to Masese Primary School. Yes, that's where I did my P7. And then I was dying to go to Tororo Girls. By that time, Tororo Girls was the school. By the way, you are
More school than girls.
my dear. There is who cared about girls. Everybody thought because it was, and it is not that it was any better, but it is the infrastructure and the feeding. Whenever we would go to visit some of our relatives, I said, this must be the school. But unfortunately, I couldn't go. Not that I didn't pass, I passed, but then my mother was hit by high blood pressure. So my father said, you now can't go because you have to be here and support your mother. And I didn't want my mom to die.
Yes.
Although I died to go to Tororo Girls, but I couldn't make it. Said between my mother's death and really, no. Maybe I should stay so that I'm at home helping my siblings. And then he promised me that when she stabilizes, then I'll take you to a boarding school. Yeah, that's how I ended up going to Mulili Girls School in Jinja. It was also another excellent school. Madivani put up that school, my goodness. You do not miss anything, be it curriculum, be it the feeding, even the classrooms, the uniform, maroon with a maroon tie and white shirts. I mean, at that age, that's what you think. Oh! And there again, I got another very interesting teacher. Mulili by Madivan School he started actually teaching other languages. And one of the languages was French. So they brought a young French girl to teach French. I don't know why they thought when you want someone to learn the language, you speak it, you don't speak the other. For me, I found it a bit weird. And I think that's why we totally failed to pick French.
Yes.
Because we started well with her. She teaching us bonjour. You see her, bonjour. So we thought, oh, that's how.
You say the word twice.
Bonjour. Then she came to comment, ça va bien. Then we were like, So we started getting the headache. So one time she was about 20-something, young girl. I don't think she had even come to Africa. But Madivan brought her to his school so that he shows the class, the what. I mean, there was everything. We played tennis, we played all these games were there. The only problem was that it was at a school. So she comes in a class and she talks in French and she goes on and we went on repeating it. We repeated and the girl couldn't stand it. She just collapsed.
Oh no.
The rest you'll get it in my book, but I talk about it also. And we all ran, we went to the teacher and the teachers came and said, what is the problem? Says she went on talking and we also repeated.
Oh.
I'm telling you. So later on, we came to realize that she was saying, "What is wrong with you? Why are you not getting what I'm teaching?" And we could also say, "What is wrong with you? Why are you not getting?" And that put her pressure, and the girl just collapsed. So later on, the girl went back to France, and that was the end of my French lessons. Well, after that, I went to S1 and S2. And in S3, my mother had stabilized. And by that time, priests had their networks, very good networks. And him having been a born again, he decided...
That's your father?
Yes. He decided, no, you're not going to Tororo Girls. I would go. And he said, no. Those girls, first of all, put on short skirts, I'm taking you to another school. So he goes and talks to Bishop Bamoze, and I'm taken to Wanyange Girls, where Miss Hayden was also born again. So that's where I did my S3. And at the end of the S3, by that time, choosing leaders was not like today, where people compete. You bring sweets and whatever, no? Teachers, the headmasters, the whole system, the gardeners, everybody is called in to ask, who do you think will be the next head girl? And at that time, we had a strike in Wanyange. I don't really remember exactly the issue, but I remember the head IGA, the Betty Kamia, was in that school. Huh? Yeah. And I remember a few girls who were coming from Kampala, whom we used to see as, hey, Banag, these ones are from some kiras, if I can speak your English. Yes. So there was a strike. I don't really recall what the strike was about. So we were all sent home. When we came back second term, one of the head girl then was one of those who was told not to go back to school. Now I remember. There are girls who would sneak out to go to Soga College Mulili for dances. Yes. And I think the watchman named them and whatever, and then there was what. So she didn't come back. I don't recall who she was, but Betty Mkamia may remember. So when we came back in second term, the Hayden called me and said, you have been nominated to be the head girl. But I had just gone into a school. It looks like destiny continues following you. So now when I think about it, I asked myself a number of questions. Could it be that my father was born again, Hayden was born again? But that couldn't be a reason, given that the person in the garden, the cooks, all of them had to identify girls. That's how Hayden worked. All of them identified girls, and those girls would be the ones now they would sit as a teaching group. The teachers were whatever, comment on them and whatever. Okay, to cut the story short, I was nominated as the head girl. I recall very well my dormitory was called River Nile. It was the first, it is the first on the right as you enter Wanyange Girls. Our uniform was blue, and yeah, we always ironed them looking very smart. I did my O-level there, and I did very well. I got 6 credits and the rest I got 2 passes, yeah. Then my father had heard about, my father was such a protector of me. Even when we would go into the boarding schools, the boys would be given 5 shillings. Then he would call me and give me an extra. Reverends never had money, but he would give me another little extra and say, but don't tell your brothers. You need this. I was wondering, why was he giving me that? Now I noticed he knew I had started my menstruation and I was not going to be at home where my mother would do all that she used to do. Cotton, wrap what? Gauze. There are things they do when you have delivered.
Yes.
Pads. There used to be pads. But I think I started using pads when I went to in my S3. Yeah, I used to use cotton, and she would, in Limuru, they were also, my mother was also taught, self-care, how to care for children, baking cakes, and all those menstrual whatever. So she used to do those things for me. And me, I don't remember any day when I would do, oops, no, she would make a nap of them, stitch them up with the gauze, make a nap of them and put them into my box. So he would give me the extra money and says, when you want to buy anything to eat, you get from this money. Don't allow anybody to give you any money. I lived in a very naive home where I only knew everybody was good. I would see visitors coming in. It is all prayer, thanksgiving, telling us we always need to be good to everybody. There are people who are worse than us. My father, devotions would really shape you to always know you are not, what you have is enough. And always look at someone who doesn't and give. So my father seems to have known that I'm going to be so naive in terms of what is out there. But my mother would only tell me one thing. If you ever get pregnant, that will be the end of you.
Oh, that's what she would say.
You'll not be what you see those other women you see. Never. Now listen to this. When I started I'm tracking you back. When I started my menstruation in S1, I went and told her what has happened. She says, now, if you play with any boy, can you imagine? What was this playing? Because we were so protected. We knew, even in the villages, my father would only allow me to go to my grandmother of my maternal side because she knew she was a very strict woman. But his side, where there was a lot of polygamy, I want to assure you, we never went. We only went to visit, sleep there when my father had mother there, and then come out. That was the kind of life I led.
Yeah.
So when this happened to me, and I told her, then she told me, now you play with boys, you are there over. You would get pregnant, you'll never. But at that time, even the biology they were teaching us in Mulili Girls School, I don't recall them really physically telling us about sex and sexuality and what happens when a man sleeps with a woman. I mean, you can see how daft I was. So after, there's a period, I don't know whether it happened to you, but after you have started menstruation, There are some months you go without bleeding. Yes, it happened to me, it happened to my daughter, I saw it. Jackie, I knew I'm now finished. I was finished.
Hey.
Now I'm pregnant. How the pregnant comes, I did not know. Do you know tying your stomach for months and months, looking shit-free?
Oh dear.
And my mother would say, what is the problem with you? She did not know I would first tie my stomach. Now, how did this pregnancy come? Yeah. I'm telling you, biology this is what happened, but nobody took me seriously, Shari. You are laughing? That's why I took upon myself to tell my children and my grandchildren not to become.
I know. We take it for granted, by
We do.
We do.
So at the end of the day, after 4 months, the period came again. I thanked God, knowing the God I've been praying is the one who has made this to come. So I'm not pregnant again. Anyway, thank God, I go to Wanyange Girls, and that's now how I come to know about sex. So I look back and see, so I was not pregnant. Yeah, I was not pregnant. And so I started asking questions and whatever. But the bell that went on, now I knew. My mother meant if I sleep with boys, I will get pregnant. Okay, so that won't happen. Anyway, I did that.
No, but it's interesting. Fast forward, because me, when I started menstruating, literally, my mom also told me those words. If you play with boys, you'll become pregnant. So I was in P7. That very break time, because they brought me home in the evening, so I had been flaked. So I said, hey, so tomorrow, like you said, if you start figuring, playing tapo, like, anyway, yeah. But I understand you, yeah.
I'm telling you, whenever I tell people, they think I'm just joking. But that is what I went through until I went to Wanyange. Then I came to understand that's what my mother meant.
Yes.
How she could not just say, there is a penis, the vagina, you will enter your vagina, and that's how you can't.
No. Modo mchala mauri.
Muchala Mauri are born again. Hey. Anyway, so I wanted to take you back to that, but then when I finished my O-level, my father again looked for another Christian-based. So he rides his bicycle from Luangosia, where we lived, to Busesa, to a Catholic mission, who was a very good friend of his. My father was a networker. So he did what? She went and told, my daughter has passed very well. These are her results. But me, I had again put Tororo Girls. So Tororo Girls was not the issue. You know, I never wanted to disappoint my parents. And by that time, Tororo Girls was not the Tororo Girls I really admired when I was young. You know, it was a beautiful school.
Yes, yes.
Ash. They ate like Americans. Then, you know, they dressed like Americans. Everything. You pass it through everything. I mean, it was just great. So he tells the father, he was called the Father Pius by that time. He gets the telephones. I'm sure those telephones, some of our grandchildren don't know if they exist. He picks it, and as I was Isaac, and Father Grimes in Namasagali, he picks. Then they speak and says, oh, I have a great friend, Reverend Ojiambo, whose daughter has done very well. And the best thing is she got a 3 in CRE for the, can you imagine? Our parents used to shape what we would do because we were not exposed. You don't even have the peers to tell you what
to do it for.
Anyway, he tells him, oh, tell him to bring her tomorrow. We've already started. For us, we've already started. So I recall my father leaving me at Father Pius's to go back to Luangosia, pick my suitcase, come so that Father Pius takes us to Namasagali. We go to Namasagali. That's where now I get the Kadagas, the head of very many Basoga went to Namasagali at that time. The head of MOPS, this young, very good entrepreneur, Vitature, but Vitature was behind me. So I go to Namasagali, that's where I do my A-level. But one thing I really love from Namasagali is that guy shaped you as a woman. Very few people don't know what he used to do up there. One, docile people like us came to know relationships. Two, he never stopped you to have a relationship, but it must be in the open. Three, every Saturday, we would, S4 and S6 would always go into the hall and get different speakers to come and tell us about career, but about also relationship. I recall very well Father Grimes, the last week, he called all of us girls, S4s and S6, and he told us, you are going to go in a country full of, a country full of wolves. You as girls must know how to protect yourselves. He told us as girls, you must always buy tights, body tights. When you are going out with boys, get money, put under your shoe in the tights. Because there are very crazy boys out there. They will take you in crazy places and they will want to force to have sex with you, and you will have they are the ones who have taken you there. There's no way you are going to run away from them. But make sure you run because you have your money.
Yes.
And Jackie, during Idi Amin's time at Makerere, that thing happened to us. And he always told her, never move alone. Move in groups as women. When you go out there for dances, dance as a group. With your money where?
In your shoe.
In your shoe. Don't carry bags. You have a hanky and your money in the shoe. So one time, this group of boys, we go out dancing, and it was during Idi Amin's time. I had never left Makerere. I was always moving around Makerere or come to my brother's flat. By the time he was in Wampeo. But going beyond that, no. So we go venturing, and we were three of us. One was from another school, but two of us were from Namasagali. So Christine tells me, Ruth, remember, I told her, mine is already there. We would always put on body stockings. People, every time we go out, body stockings with our money in the shoe. So they take us. One of the guys was doing agriculture. What is that? In
Kabanyoro.
In Kabanyoro.
Yes.
So drive up to Kabanyoro.
Oh, wow.
We go into this place, sit. We start enjoying muchomo, cassava. And that man taught us, watch the body language of boys when they are in a group. Watch. So we said, you guys, it's getting late. And this is Idi Amin's time.
Yes.
We don't want to go. I said, but this is a big house. You'll stay here. You'll stay. You'll sleep here. The other one. And we could see they had actually, we were 52, we are separated. So we also used our body language and we said, out of here. Me had never gone to Kabanyoro. Neither had my friends. So we sneak out and run with our shoes in our hands. We reach the
Main
room. But it was dangerous times.
Yes.
We hear the van coming. We dash down into we dash back into the bush. Then we hear, when God has planned for you, you will always not say, Nani huyo. Get what? They went. It was around 7:30. There are no borders. There are no
tell nothing.
And Idi Amin's time.
Oh, no.
As luck has it, the Kabanyoro bus comes. Then we stop it. Then they say, where are you coming from? Says, we were late. You know how you start lying. We were late in the field. We knew Kabanyoro people. Now we have become agriculturists when we were. So we go into the bus up to Makerere.
Wow.
But with our money in our shoe. So that was a learning. If we hadn't, maybe that time we would have had episodes of rape. We don't know. But they have remained our good friends. But said, but you guys, for us, we're just going to leave you to sleep there. We said, I
know.
No.
You can never know.
Yeah. So after that, Makerere ended. I joined the Justice.
Ministry of Justice.
Yes. As a librarian. But then, I forgot in Namasagali, I was a dancer. They loved, I was a singer. We used to sing. The first time to come to Kampala, we had come to compete. Yeah, but singing, I could sing. And dancing, those were my two hobbies. So Makerere, I was again in the netball. In Namasagali also played football, and I was the captain for the football. But in Makerere, I went into netball. We are one of the teams that went to Kenya for the competition a number of times. And then I joined the Ministry of Justice. And I used to, I would always want to do things different, but that place was just, I would go to the Solicitor General and say, no, what I was trained is not the way you have classified your books. This is not how it is supposed to be. So I would always have push and pulls with the lawyers. I said, no, you cannot classify this here. No. These are supposed to be here. Well, and this is one place which was always marginalized. So one time,
On the place meaning the library.
the library,
Yes.
you would ask for what? Nobody. So one time, I just locked it up. Oh yeah. I locked it. Kanyayihamba was the minister then. And he comes in and he says, the readers he is.
Yes.
Why is the library closed? Says, we don't know. but where is the librarian? He started making whatever. Me, I was seated. There was a visitor's room there. I came out and said, "Sir, I'm here. Why is the library closed at this time?" And he said, and I said, "Because it is too dusty for any lawyer to pick a book from there." Why? He says, "Whatever I asked for, nobody does it." I don't know where I got that, but it was too much. So he calls me. We go we go to his office. I narrated everything. You know, the most important thing is do what you are doing with the justification. Because he says, "Okay, let's go. Open." I opened. He held himself and said, "For how long?" I said, "I've been coming here with my colleagues. I dust. This young boy mops." But I asked them, they just needs to have some petty cash for keeping the place clean. I've asked for money to bind the newspapers. Nobody seems to care. It is always the He called the undersecretary. "From today, I want the library to have its petty cash for making it this woman is a professional person who is supposed to do what he's supposed. This is the Attorney General's." Anyway, we started there. What? And the rest was history. That's how I even get when the British Council came back to Uganda after Idi Amin, the representative was looking for something called the library. Of course, things had gone in tantas. So he arrives at the Attorney General's library and says, "Oh, thank God, there's something called the library here." And we struck friendship. When scholarships came after 2 years, he came to Mr. Ayume, and he said, this your department has been given 3 scholarships. Then it is Mr. Ayume who said, "Oh, one must be for the librarian, because this lady has told us so many. She's always complaining here, we are not doing the right thing." Then he said, "I'm happy you have actually decided so, because I wanted to ask you that one of the scholarships goes for the librarian." That's how I get the scholarship, together with Julia Septinde, and Chiriabwire. So I go to London to do my first degree, but by that time, librarianship was a diploma. So I go to do my first degree, but you had to sit some exam to see whether you do all the 3 years or you do 1 year. So I sat the exams, and I just added 1 year to do my degree. When I finished, the head of the school came and told me, "Ruth, I think you are such a smart girl, but given that you have come as a mature, you may not go back and you get another opportunity to come. I want to ask your ministry to allow you to do the masters. You finish and then you go and do 2 years masters. Because libraries are changing, communication is changing. You don't have to do library science and you do a master's in library science, you need to do in communication policies. So it was excitement, but at first I said, who? But I've been away for 2 years. Now again, my children. So I first called my husband. Then he told me, Lucy, as they call me, luck strikes but once. If that is your opportunities, take it. So I call. By that time, Mr. Yumi had moved now to Parliament. It was Mr. Kabasi. Yeah, Solicitor General. So I write to him, no, Ruth, you need to come back because the library, you need to come back. So I call my cousin, Dr. Patrick Mangend. And Patrick says, no. But the library will be even better when you have finished your master's. So I will go and talk to the minister because both of them were in Oxford. So he goes and he talks to Kanyihamba and says, oh, my cousin is in London. She's your librarian. Oh, she's a very good, smart girl. She put this thing in order. Yeah, but now her college says, her university says, it would be nice for her to continue to do the master's so that when she comes back, she has all the information communication together. Then Kanyehamba Zeriomichiga says, and what's the problem with that? Says, no, the Solicitor General seems to say they are no, please, Mr. Kabasi. Break that file and we say, oh, she says she left this place has real. Says, no. When chances come, they are given. Bring this and I sign. And then Kanyehamba signs mine. And that's how I remain to do my master's in communication policy studies. Yeah, that is me.
Wow. So we're going to end this as part 1 and we will start part 2, how you went from being a librarian to being a peace activist.
Oh, I told you a whole other life. I told you that is the destiny.
Yes, destiny. Wow. And so we'll come back and hear Ruth's destiny. Thank you so much.